I have gone through a hoe phase. I feel like everybody had a hoe phase, but I think it just depends on.
What up, YouTube? I am your host, Mediocre reviews and reviews, back in here with one more video. Guys, you already know what time it is. Today, it's time to get active. Today, got a reaction from a very small YouTube channel, and the question of today is, should everybody go through a hoe phase? I don't got much to say before we get this started, so without further ado,
Hoe phase. Should everyone go through them? Should everybody
go through
a hoe phase? A hoe phase.
A hoe phase.
Wait, let's start off with this. Have you?
No.
No. I'm gonna say yeah, bitch. I have gone through a hoe phase. I feel like everybody had a hoe phase,
But I think it just depends on what you consider a hoe phase.
what do you consider a hoe phase?
I
let's
feel
define
like
it.
I feel like a hoe phase is like you multiple people at a time. Like I don't mean like
At
in
a
week.
time, like a train?
No. I don't mean like in a week's time. I mean like you just your sex count is big.
I wouldn't say like you in multiple. I would just be like you're doing whatever the fuck you want. Like you're not tied down to nobody. You don't have no commitment. You're not in no relationship. If you want to have sex, you go have sex. To go through a hoe.
All right. Just real quick. I think that it's very important at the beginning of this video that they defined it for each other, because as we talked about on this channel, the word hoe, it's such an ambiguous term. I mean, it really don't mean shit. Well, it's not the same definition for everybody. That's what I'm trying to say. So it seems like the one on the left is saying it's not multiple people at one time, like not in the same room, but like multiple people in a given time. Like you're dating 2 or 3 people and you were practicing that act, coitus, with more than one person at a time, but it's just a free spirit with it. Like you're single and you just do it whenever you want. But it sounds like she said that she has had that phase. They both look super young. I want to say super early 20s, like 21, maybe 22. So the one on the left is saying that she did that. The one on the right is saying, no, not me. But let's see if they reveal anything else. Let's keep going.
Phase. You gotta have meaningless sex because that's what your hoe phase is. You not hoeing committedly or whatever. What am I trying to say? You not committed to one person if you hoeing. Like
she don't
yeah,
agree.
that's the only thing you committed to is this motherfucking game. You can have meaningless sex. Anybody can have meaningless sex. I kid you not. Anybody can do it.
Oh yeah.
But people be thinking about the wrong people because they be thinking about the one person that they got a crush on or the one person they've been thinking about all this time cannot have meaningless sex. No, obviously not with that person.
You like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyone can have it. But the question is, should you? Right? Like anybody can have ice cream every day for dinner. But the question is, should you? Right? I think life is incredibly about balance. Right? So, should you? Let's talk about it.
No,
You can't have sex.
not with somebody you have
meaningless.
feelings for, not with somebody that you really actually want to be with or somebody that you
That's
were with before.
probably it.
No, you can't have meaningless sex with that or female.
This is actually what she's bringing up is actually a large component of what we talk about over here in this sector, right? People will treat you differently depending upon what they see for you, right? So yeah, so you can't have meaningless sex with someone who you actually like and you're in a relationship with and you see a future with them, but you can have meaningless sex with the dude down the block who ain't doing shit with his life, but he's 6'12". You understand what I'm saying? So, and that's what we talk about. So like, so I hear certain things. Like I uploaded a video not too long ago was my boys talking about, he takes girls on first dates for like $250. I'm like, dude, well, what is your vetting process before understanding the value that you're investing into this date to make sure that you get the correct ROI? Because if you're putting in $250 in, but she's been left, right, up, down, around the block and around the corner, then really is she worth that $250 investment as soon as you meet somebody? You understand what I'm saying? Like, what has she done to prove or to show via her actions that she's worth that amount? Because there's a lot of people out there that will take advantage of you in your particular situation. Anyway, let's keep it rocking.
I'm not saying that a hoe phase is like you going out and just like fucking because you want to or you don't have no commitment. I'm just saying if that's what you wanted to do and you did it, you go through your little hoe phase. Okay, I see you single, whatever. Right. Your hoe phase.
So here's the thing, and this is so fascinating to watch them in a car kind of talking about it. And it seems as though if you look at the body language on the one on this side, sorry, everything is reversed. But if you look at the body, it doesn't. She seems to start to get uncomfortable the more that she is talking about it so freely and open. So if I was to guess, I would say that this one over here has grown up around older adults that have shown her kind of what a successful kind of family looks like, and maybe more conservative in nature in building that successful family. So she's not as comfortable with the things that the one on this side is bringing up. I think that that's clear if you go back and you take a look at the body language. But let's keep it rocking.
Here's the thing. I've gotten this question twice. 2 different guys have asked me this 2 different periods of time. They have asked me like, oh, you know, how, like, what's your sex count? I told them, and they was like, oh, that's it? I'm thinking like, okay, should I have gone through one? But that was never my thing. Like, I wasn't just having sex with everybody. For the most part, I was also in relationships for long periods of time. So there was no reason for me to be going through it, because if I wanted some dick, I can just go to my significant other.
Yeah, but some people are just more exposed to it. Like, some people are around, I'm not gonna say like sexual, they're just hypersexualized. Like, if you're in a household where it's like your parents ain't teaching you about that, or you don't give a fuck, or like your mama had niggas in and out the house, whatever the case may be, maybe you feel like sex is not that big of a deal and you go out and you have sex and it's nothing to you. But then there's those other people who are like, they got purity rings and they're like saving it for marriage and they're really into church.
They're born again virgin.
That's essentially what I was trying to say. I didn't know that was going to be coming up. And I think it's important to understand, again, like, you know, as you are coming of age, right? Like, thinking through, what is your goal? If your goal is to become married, then you should be much more like a relationship type of a person, right? Because you're practicing for that thing into the future. But if you are a free spirit living life on the edge, you know, because you've seen it done before, and other people around you, they seem like they're happy behind closed doors and living that life. My thing is how close to your truth are you? Okay, because the majority. like from an evolutionary perspective, the women today, from an evolutionary, are not different than the women 60 years ago. They're not different, but you are exposed to a lot of different information. Biologically, you're not different, but you are receiving more information, which changes your mindset. So how close are you to understanding who you are and where you want to go, and not being altered by a media engine behind you? And I think you have to understand that. Let's keep it moving.
I was a born again virgin.
So,
born again virgin? How dare you?
okay.
I mean,
Yeah, she don't like this at all.
all you gotta do is say it, right?
Listen, this is also fascinating to watch because they won't be friends in about 8 years. Yeah, man, I'll give them less. I'll give them about 5 years. She's going to be moving in a completely different direction than when she's going to move. And unless they get more aligned, it's not gonna last too more. Like, it's cool to have friends with different ideas and opinions and shit, because I bring them through on the channel all day. But when it comes to this relationship shit, because what happens is they get into relationships and the contact kind of gets squashed if they're not in the same mindset. And I see that especially happening amongst women. Okay, dudes, like, we could be very different from each other and still respect each other no matter what. But when it comes to relationships, because relationships take time, and you can't be in a relationship and also spending time with your single ass homegirls anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because they will begin to pollute you out of that relationship. Let's keep it moving.
Born again, like born again.
Born again virgin, my ass.
Like,
As soon as you have sex,
today, I'm gonna
ooh,
start over
born
right
again.
now. He's like, cool, okay, not him. Born again.
Woke up, born again. Oh, his dick was small. Born again.
Oh,
Your
how
wholeness
dare you.
can get
Went to another country, born again. Oh, went to Vegas, born again. Some bullshit.
deleted, right?
Exactly. And when it gets
No.
deleted, you is a born again virgin.
You're still a hoe. So born
It's
again
still a hoe.
virgin.
That's what she, yeah.
They be like, oh, you know, I'm not gonna have sex until marriage. Once I've already had sex, I don't know how y'all go back to not having sex. Like, just
I get
a
the
month's
concept.
time, like a month, like, cause you're giving yourself to God and you're like, you know, I'm starting over. Me, on the other hand, a month's time. A month is a long time. A couple weeks is a long time. Like, that's...
I get the concept of it, born again virgin. Now all of a sudden you want to save yourself for God. But my thing is, you was already
sinning.
It's like, yeah, you already been.
You said you already damaged good.
Somebody already been up in that.
The reason why I never went through a whole phase was because I think too much. would I be able to date this person later?
She
Would I
be with
have
everything?
Would I have a kid with this person if something happened? Like, if whatever happened, if it slipped up, would I have a kid with this person? Like, whatever. That's the shit that goes through my mind. That might be a little bit extreme for some people, but for me, that's the shit that goes through my mind.
Let me pause it right there. Did you notice what she said? She said, I think too much. No, mama, you think an appropriate amount. Because one of the things that she called out, could I see myself marrying this person? I could have a baby with this person. That should be normal. Just even the idea that is thinking too much, right? Like, where does this come from, right? Like, that should be the baseline, all right? Thinking about your future. Thinking about what can happen, right? Because shit, every time that you have an encounter with someone, rolling the die. He's just rolling the die, and depending upon if you land on snake eyes, can critically wound certain chances and opportunities in your life into the future. And that is real. And for some reason, we have a society that either A, just doesn't want you to feel the realization of what your choices are, or also a society that allows certain actors in it not to be accountable for the decisions that they make. I mean, shit, this is key, and this is crucial, right? This is key for you to assess. But notice what the young lady on this side said, yeah, she crazy. She be thinking, no, I think that is how you're supposed to be really critical with who you allow into your space, into your earth, into your existence, especially if the act that you are letting them into could end up with a child. Okay? Not much more to go. Let's see what else they have to say.
College. You gotta have a motherfucking hoe phase in college. It's just inevitable, I think.
Yeah, sure.
That's what happened to me. That's all I'm saying. Everyone should have their version of a hoe phase.
Right, which doesn't have to be you having sex with multiple people.
It doesn't have to be having sex every single day.
Yeah.
More people should be thinking, who is this? Why am I doing this? What's gonna happen after? What's this nigga's number? Can I call his mom? Can he pick me up from the club if I needed him? Like, can I rely on him in an emergency? Period. We did it, bitch.
All right, yeah. I still maintain my point that I made at the beginning. I think that the one on the right is going to out-mature the one on the left. I just think from where their life is going, perspective, shit, I could be wrong. Shit, they actually might even be related. I don't actually know. But fantastic conversation, fantastic discussion. I love finding gems like these across the internet. Guys, follow my Instagram, link down in the description box down below, to make sure that you guys are sending me content like this all across the web, so we can take a formal assessment of the young ladies in the millennial generation and what it is that they're thinking, so we can have an informed discussion, so we can toss it up in the air and critically think about solutions to make it better. But I maintain that we can't talk through solutions unless we identify the mindset or identify the problems to begin with. All right, this Hoe Phase thing is an interesting conundrum. Here's the thing: when I think about this carousel riding, blah blah blah, here's the thing, and the analogy I'm going to use, just follow me real quick. If you were to ask people back in, let's say, the 1800s, right, just an average person in the 1800s, and say, is your life enjoyable? Is your life enjoyable? Okay, outside of like not having vaccines and, you know what I'm saying, clean running water all the time and you know, electricity and was still new and shit like that. Like, you know, outside of all that dumb shit, right, which we couldn't live in at all. Ain't nobody in America that can live back in the 1800s after you experience America in 2021. There's no way you could go back. Okay. But if you were to ask them back there, I think a fair bit amount of people would say, yeah, I love and enjoy my life, right? If they had a good upbringing and so forth and so on, right? I think the same thing is with this Hoe Phase thing, right? Like if you go out and experience all of these other different, right? Like and you're expecting the experiences to have that in your future husband or your future LTR, right? Like your expectation is here, but you can't go back to something that you experienced with someone else with different credentials and different like experiences. You know what I'm saying? Like you cannot have that expectation. Just how at living in 2021, you can't go back to the 1800s and have that same expectations, because you're going to be setting yourself up for failure. Fantastic discussion. I'll leave a link to the channel down below. You understand me? All right. Questions, comments, concerns, y'all already know what to do. Mediocre tutorials and reviews at gmail.com. Guys, I have a Patreon as well. Link down in the description box down below. Go up there and see what I have to offer. Come and join the community where we have these conversations in private, okay? Come join us, all right? Until next time, YouTube. Peace.